are back with the car vlogs. I'm very, very happy to be bringing you this video. This is the 9 key points of my success over the last few years. I wanted to make this video because it's super important to understand that there are certain things that you have complete control over in your life that can really aid you to become successful. We're going to start off straight away by first saying I'm in a new car, as you can see. So if it's a little bit louder, it's because, well, I've gone for a C63S this time with a straight through exhaust over in here in Dubai because, well, I just wanted a little bit something fun. I know I'm a bit of a hypocrite because last time I spoke about this on one of my other videos and I said, oh, there's no point having a fast car, but you know what, when you can get this kind of, I don't know if that mic's going to pick that up, but there's something about having a fast car. Let's put the window down. Anyway, enough of messing around before I get a speeding ticket over here. So, let's get back to the actual point of the video if you wanted to learn something and not just hear the engine. 9 key points of success to that's the effect that the C63S has on you. Like, I absolutely love my M3 and the M3 is definitely a better car, but it was so quiet compared to this. This is just absolutely a beast. Absolutely beast. So anyway, a little bit off track there. Let's get back to the main point of the video, the 9 key points of success in the last few years. Number 1, valuing my reputation over money. And this kind of funnels into every aspect, whether it be in terms of your business, your personal growth, lots of different areas of life. Your reputation is without a doubt the most important part about it, because without a good reputation, nothing can come afterwards. It can take a lifetime to build a good, solid reputation, and it can take literally one day to ruin it. So whenever you're coming to doing a business deal, whenever you're dealing with people, whenever you're supplying a product to somebody, in all your daily interactions with friends, customers, people in general, all around the world, whatever you're doing, you need to have this one motto at heart, that your reputation is your most valuable asset, because that's what's going to get you in the door first of all. If you don't know somebody, if somebody can recommend you, if you've got a kind of introduction with somebody, it's also going to mean if you've got social profiles like across Instagram, Google reviews, etc., etc. Your reputation is a representation of what you believe in. If you're a good person, if you stick to your word, if you operate in a good manner. And if you don't operate in a good manner, if you're a bad person, if you conduct yourself in ways that you shouldn't, that's going to bite you in the arse for a long time in the future. So I've always been taught by my dad that your reputation is super, super important. So always think about what could be the effect of you choosing the wrong decision, doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. And that is where your reputation will come into play. Number 2, having great customer service. And I don't see a lot of people speaking about this on YouTube and all these kind of different things in videos. Everybody wants to focus on numbers, scaling, etc., etc. But if you've got great customer service, that is the key to being able to create a solid business that will continue to generate you profits and continue to give you an income for a long time into the future without also spending marketing. I actually look back over the last few years on my marketing spend in my business. I think you'll be interested to hear that I didn't spend any money on marketing. So if we actually consider paid ads in my business, I didn't spend any money on paid ads for 5 years. And right now I look at it, okay, maybe that was actually a wrong decision to make. But at the time I was so busy because of the word of mouth advertising from my reputation and my customer service that I didn't need to. So only when it came to the point of needing to scale, to the point where word of mouth advertising wasn't enough because I'd kind of exhausted the potential of that. Not exhausted, but it's got a limitation to it. That's where paid ads come into, able to scale your business further with the new premises that we've got. But I never did any paid advertising because my customer service was so good and my reputation was so good that I didn't need to spend any money on marketing. I was already flat out all the time anyway. So that's just a great example of why it's so important to have good customer service. Now, you might be asking, how can you implement good customer service into your business? Well, I tried to look at it from a standpoint that how would you like to be treated if you was in that situation in your business? Try to put yourself into the customer's viewpoint as often as possible. I recently had a situation in my business where there was a discrepancy between what had been said between my staff member, who's a new sales rep in the business. Not his fault, you know, there's a lot of difficult things that you have to learn about in the camper van industry. So, you know, there's a lot of different things that he doesn't know yet. And overall, he wasn't actually in the wrong. There was no part of what he said that was incorrect, my sales rep. But I had a very, very unhappy customer for not a huge amount of, you know, not a massive problem in my opinion. And the customer made a formal complaint to me through the email. I investigated the situation, I listened to all the phone calls, and then I took it upon myself to deal with the situation as the business owner. And what I understood is that the customer was only looking for a refund of around £180. But at this point, this customer was very much prepared to make a formal complaint, which could have led to a very bad review in the future. Now, why do I have a 4.9 rating of over nearly 400 reviews online? Is because I valued the point that, okay, well, this could potentially lead to a bad review, no matter who's right or who's wrong in the situation, because my sales rep wasn't wrong, and there was only a tiny little bit to say, okay, at this point the customer could have something to say about it. What doesn't a huge do? But another business might have fought that off. I viewed it as, okay, it's £180, so we have to refund the customer. That is worth not taking a bad review on every day of the week, because that one bad review could cost me thousands and thousands of pounds in the future, because that will stay on my account permanently. It's impossible to remove negative reviews unless they're genuinely from a competitor or a scammer or whatever like this. So when I valued that point, I thought there's no point arguing over this. Let's just make the customer happy, get him what he wants, lose £200, which in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of our business, is not a huge amount of money. Despite who's right or wrong, it's a commercial decision. Okay, so that's just a real life example of how I was able to tackle that situation. Now the customer's happy. He's happy to sign a piece of paper to say that he's happy as well, so there's no chance of any negative review coming on in the future. So if you can turn unhappy customers around into happy customers, that is so, so valuable for your business from a long-term perspective. I'm just coming up to a bit of a junction here, so it's a little bit crazy here, the roads in Dubai. All right, so number 3, and I think this is a super important one, again, as are all of them, but I see this a lot in other business owners where they try to kind of scrimp and save. You need to invest in your business continually. And if that means not making money for a month or 2 months, for example, if you're taking your profits that you made in the previous months and you're reinvesting it into the next few months to gradually increase the capacity or whatever you might be investing in, maybe marketing, maybe improving your tools, maybe improving your service deliverability, maybe you're going to be improving your staff work of life, etc. You need to invest at every single point, always constantly investing to improve. I say this many, many times in my videos, but if you do not put money into the business, if you're not investing, if you're just sucking out all the profits, your business will not grow. It will not go anywhere, because you need to put fuel into the engine. So you need to put money into the business for it to be able to go forward. So it's super important. There's been many times, even now, like right now, I'm in a period where I'm investing continually. I'm investing very, very heavily into my business. I'm probably investing all the money I've made over maybe the last 18 months, because I'm aware that if I put this money into this business now and I can make my lifestyle adapt to the fact that I don't have any money coming in for the next probably 6 months, and I've invested all the profits in the last 18 months, I know that in the future, maybe 1 year to 3 years, that's going to pay off 5-10 times, because I'm investing into a new premises. I'm making sure that the premise is absolutely top notch, and I know that that investment will pay me in the long-term growth, because not only will I be able to attract more customers and my brand image will be better, I know that that money over the next 2 to 3 years will come in, but also from a business sale point, which we'll be aiming for in about 3 years' time, the valuation of my business will be reflected on what I've invested in that. So you have to think about this. You can't constantly take all the profits out of your business every single month if you want to improve or you want to grow. That is a super important part, and I think that's a very key mindset that keeps people stagnant, because they see, okay, well, this is going to cost me, I don't know, 3k a month to be able to take on this service, and they don't often calculate how much that 3k per month is going to bring them into the business in the long run. All right, so talking about financials and spending, I've only ever spent what I can afford. And I see this so often here in my lifestyle right now. And I've seen it in the past as well with other situations, that People very often get caught up in spending more than they can afford. They don't live within their means. Despite everything that I've had, my M3, the car that I have now, all the things that I've had in my life, I've been able to afford multiple times over before I've gone to purchase them. And I've always kept a very decent cash reserve behind me should anything go wrong. It's very important to have that. And I'll touch on that in a second for another reason why you need cash reserves as well. So here's a great example of how I've lived within my means, okay? I've just invested hundreds of thousands of pounds in the last 3-4 months in different projects, okay? My cash flow right now is very, very limited. I've not come to Dubai and bought a supercar, which I could have done if I wanted to. If I wanted to go get finance, pay a monthly fee, I could have gone and bought a supercar. That is not living within my means. I've bought a Mercedes that was a good price, around £30,000. I've sold my M3 back in the UK. That is a real life example of living your means. I'm not going out to beach clubs. I'm not going out to parties every single day here in Dubai, spending lots of money. I'm literally sticking to what I can afford to live in my lifestyle. Despite the fact that I have successful businesses, I'm not interested in spending that money because it doesn't work out, because I'm investing them into the business. So people often get caught up in it. I've got a very funny example, I won't speak about it right now, but of people who flex things and they can't afford it, okay? From my own personal experience. So, touching on that kind of tangent on that point, always having a cash reserve, you need to have good cash reserves. For example, if a deal comes available. So a great way that I've made money in my business is by having a large amount of cash available to invest in large stock. I did a deal one day with a supplier at a camper van conversion trade show, and they came round to the stalls, and I was exhibiting my camper vans at the time, and he came to me and says, do you want to buy 5 of these metal parts? We'll call them metal parts, yeah? And I said, well, what's the price? He goes, well, I'm looking for around £140 per part. Now these parts usually cost around probably £170 per part, and we will fit them for around £300 plus. Okay, so already a decent margin for probably a job that takes around half an hour to maximum an hour to fit. Okay, and I said to him, okay, well, how many have you got? Because if you go around, most people wouldn't buy 5. They'd probably buy 5 once every month or 2 months, for example. I said, how many have you got? He says, I've got around 200 of them. I said, wow, that's quite a lot. I said, why are you selling them all? He says, well, we're shutting up shop. We want to get out of the country, whatever like that. Can't remember the exact reason, something along those lines. I said, okay, well, what price would you do if I bought all of them? And he says, what do you mean all of them? Like, clearly no one had even had the capacity to be able to buy this amount of stock off him and also fit them. So I said, yeah, I'll buy them all if you do me a good price. And he says, well, what kind of price are you thinking? Now, you're literally halved. I took £50 per piece off each item. And he says, it's too cheap. It's cheaper than what I pay for it. I says, yeah, but I'm buying all 200 off you. Just imagine how long it's going to take you to walk around this whole show, speak to everybody, try to sell 5 at a time. And he said, don't worry, we'll see what happens. I said, well, the offer's there. If you don't sell them by the end of the day, come back to me, then we can do a deal. And lo and behold, he came back to me at the end of the day. He didn't manage to sell any of them to anybody else because nobody was really interested. I don't know why they weren't interested, because it was a great deal. And yeah, I bought all 200 of them. Now, in my mind at that point, that was a big expenditure, okay? A huge amount of money in terms of investment for this. But I knew that this product, if I did good deals on them, I could sell them over and over and over again. I wouldn't need to buy stock for nearly 2 years. So I literally have had those parts on the shelf for over 2 years now. Yeah, well over 2 years, around 2.5 years. But I've nearly quadrupled my money from the initial investment. So having that money in your bank account, cash reserves, can be massively advantageous for when situations like that come in front of you. And I learned that from my dad, actually, because he used to do a lot of stock buying. He would buy a lot of shoes when people needed money quickly, or if they were struggling to sell them. And then when you get things so cheap and you can resell them at a decent price where people will still buy them, you can make a lot of money in margin. Okay, so next one is very important, as are all the parts. I need to stop repeating myself. And it comes back to the classic phrase that I love to say: turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. You need to prioritize profit in your business rather than turnover. And this is shown very much throughout the camper van industry, because I see a lot of people doing all these turnovers, like very high turnovers. And I look at my business, okay, yeah, 7-figure turnover, but it's not huge compared to all the other businesses. But then I look at their profit levels and it's very low. So having a huge turnover is not good, because that means high operational costs, high staff costs, logistical nightmare. Once you've got so many things going on in your business, you become so inefficient that you really reduce your net profit levels. So you must prioritize profit. I have a very lean operation in terms of staff members and sizing in terms of like actual warehouse space, because I only want to focus on having a business that is easy to operate, allows me to live the life that I want to live, but also makes good profit. So there's no point having this big massive warehouse space. There's no point having 20 staff on the floor and having a 20 million pound turnover to only come out with 100 grand a year net profit because your costs are so high. Because that is just a nightmare. That is a nightmare to run. Apologies, but the camera got too hot, something I don't have to deal with in the UK, turn itself off, so I lost my train of thought there. Okay, so the next point is sticking to your word. This is important because it comes back to the point one of your reputation. If you don't stick to your word, then you're going to get a bad reputation. People are not going to want to do business with you because you keep saying things, keep talking, and never actually doing what you say you're going to do. And there's nothing worse than people like that. So if you want to be successful, you want to continue doing deals with people, then you need to make sure that you don't put out wild claims that you're going to do all these things that you know you can't do and don't follow through with it. I always go back to this in my business as well. Under promise, over deliver. So when I say I'm quoting for something, I make sure I set expectations to the customer and I don't say things I know I can't follow through with, because that is not good practice. Point number 8, not taking no for an answer. In life and in business, you're going to have hurdles that you're going to have to affront every single day. And sometimes you have to have the resilience in you to continue forward despite someone saying no to you, despite someone denying you, despite someone saying this is not going to work out. If you know that something is a good opportunity, if you know you've got something in front of you that you can make work, then sometimes you need to go ahead and continue to push for that situation, continue to show that business that you can do this for them, for example, whatever the situation is. Try to continue forward even if someone says no to you, because nobody's going to say yes to you every single time. You're never going to get through and get what you're looking for straight away. So you have to have the resilience behind you to keep going despite having no in front of you every single time. All right, and final point, and I think one of the most important ones, not the most important, but one of the most important points of my success, and especially important right now in my situation where I am right now, because once you start to get a bit of money around you and you start to have more opportunities coming your way, you need to learn to say no. And I've struggled with this massively in the past, because the way my brain works, if I see an opportunity to make money somewhere, I'm like, let's do it. I'm not afraid of risking no matter what to have an opportunity to make money with somebody or whatever opportunity comes my way. But once you start doing that, you spread yourself thin. So recently, if you notice my content on my Instagram and YouTube, I've actually stopped the Trades Freedom Toolkit. And the main reason is that I have too many things going on right now which are better opportunities. The second reason is that tradesmen don't really actually want to be helped. Maybe I'll touch on that in a bit more detail in another video. I think I will. But when you spread yourself too thin, like I've done in the past, you can't focus on the main things that you're dealing with. And I'm already managing 3 businesses right now: Driven Land Jets, Cosmic Camper Vans, and another online business. You need to learn to say no in many opportunities coming your way, because you need to stay focused on what you are building. Because if you don't, then your attention span is going to be dwindled. You're not going to be able to focus correctly on the things that make you good money. And I've had many opportunities, like for example, in my past story video, I mentioned like e-commerce, drop shipping, loads of different high ticket sales, things like that. I've made money very well from my business. And when I've dwindled my focus away from that, I've made less money in that thing as well, and that's what I'm good at. So stick to what you're good at and focus on that 1, 2, 3 maximum things. If you're capable of doing 3 things like I am, then do that. If you're only capable of doing 1 business very, very well, stick to that 1 business and learn to say no when people come to you with opportunities. Not every opportunity that comes to you is going to be good. In fact, almost 99% of them are not going to be good. So learning to say no, not wasting time on things that could take up your energy and your mental space, is a key component to the long-term success of anybody. Anyway, I'm nearly here at the workshop. The camera might overheat again in a second. That's all my 9 key points. Car vlogs are back. Hope you like them in my new C63S. Let's get it, boys. Thanks for watching.